edible gift box is a spectacular way to impress someone at the holidays. I want to show you guys how to take an entremet and present it inside a decorated box.
You know, if I was having a holiday party in my house, I would want to do something that was really special. There's some desserts that should be elevated into art.
So the way these are built is that there's a little crispy cookie underneath, and on top of that is a white chocolate mousse. Once that's all firmed up, I made a red glaze, poured it over the top, and then just tipped it with a little bit of edible gold. All right, so let's make the box that's gonna go around this entremet. I got some gum paste, some stencils, and an X-Acto. So I'm gonna take a little cornstarch and roll this guy out. You wanna get this to about 1/8 of an inch thick. So, I'm gonna make frames. So I'm gonna take the big square, I'm gonna take a pastry cutter and go across like this. Nice and straight. Now we're gonna use the X-Acto knife. First, I'm gonna gently score the top. If you try to stick the knife all the way through on your very first pass, you're gonna pull the gum paste and it's gonna change shape. And now, I will incise. There you go. Now all you gotta do is do that about 7 more times.
All right, listen, when you're making one of these, take your time. Some of them are gonna break. It's just gonna happen. Make sure you have a couple extras.
Okay, so I got a nice flat sheet pan, and then on it is a piece of acetate. I'm gonna take some cornstarch and a little strainer like this. So I want just a nice, even layer of cornstarch. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's put our frames down. All right, so I got some royal icing and a cornet. I'm gonna cut off the tip. I wanna go about 7 millimeters. Now what I'm gonna do is just pipe some lines, and this is gonna be the framework for the finer detail that's gonna happen later on. Now you can make any pattern you want. Just realize the bigger space you have in between each line, the more delicate the piping's gonna be. Okay, so I set the pipe frames aside for about 2 hours to dry. Now before you work with this, make sure to dust off any extra cornstarch. Okay, now, you want to position your frame so the front side is down, and you just want to suspend it by the corners. What you want to do is just pipe nice little thin lines and just let gravity kind of make them into loops. And you're just laying them on top. And then when you stand this thing up, it's going to look really cool, I promise. You can totally do this. So whenever one of them breaks, just remove it from your frame, throw it away, and pipe a new line. So as the lines get longer, they get a lot more fragile. All right, so now you just gotta let these dry, no sudden movements, then we're gonna build our box.
So the way to build one of these desserts is basically the way you build a card house. You start with one, you add a wall to that, and then once you have 2 walls that are leaning against each other, you can build everything else on that foundation.
So far, so good. Now, if I measured everything right, the top should fit. Please fit. Okay, fits. It's good. All right, but I think what we want to do is just a little bit of decoration. Just kind of make the box sparkle a bit. So I got some really nice kind of taupe and gold dragées here. I'm just trying to make the box a little bit more interesting, but the decoration is actually reinforcing the structure, right? So every time I do another line here, it's gonna make sure that this thing is gonna make it from the kitchen to the table where somebody's waiting for it.
Now, look, you've taken a long time and you've built this amazingly beautiful dessert, and now you get to destroy it. And you have to be okay with that.
Make this for something holiday worthy, or just make one because they're cool. For this recipe and more, go to foodnetwork.com/DuffSweetSpot.